Sometimes we avoid looking at things that disappoint us, but gardens don't wait. Eventually, you have to go back and see what's happened. What's going on today, Maureen? 2 weeks ago, we were out at the offsite garden and the tomato plants were looking fabulous, and Marissa even did a really good prune on them. We are just really expecting good things. But then a week and a half ago, a deer had other plans. I'm assuming that somebody from the farm left the gates open and a deer went in and decimated one whole row and partial of another one. It was absolutely heartbreaking. I just thought there were a few little leaves on the plants, and I just thought, I don't know if that's going to be enough. So I gave them some poo-poo juice just to give them some extra nutrition in hopes that that would help, and also hoping that nobody leaves the gate open again so that they don't come back and decimate the rest of them. I have no idea what we're going to walk into. I do have to do a picking of things, I'm assuming, because there were some things growing, but again, a week and a half later, I have no idea how big they'll be or if they've also been somebody's din-din. It will be interesting to go out and see. But before all this, of course, today is Friday, so today is bread baking day, which also means that I get up with the chickens. So my morning started very, very early. Because the recipe I use for sourdough bread is an all-day kind of mixing, I wanted to get out to the farm before I had to do all the stretch and folds, because those are 15 minutes between and then 30 minutes, and so then I am more trapped at the home. But there was also breakfast that had to be made for my mom, you know, and we sit and visit a little bit, and now I'm at the place where it's like, okay, I have a 1 hour window of time to get there, assess things, pick some things, and then get back. There's been lots of growth at home, so once we're done here and in between stretch and folds, I'll be picking at the urban farm as well. We've had some really, really hot weather, just like everywhere else, but yesterday we had rain and it was fantastic. And it was a good downpour, so I know that that's just gonna help everything to do well. Let's look at the tomatoes. This first one looks pretty much the same. I'm not seeing a lot of growth. Maybe this third one, it's got a bit of more leafing. Okay, that one has been decimated even more, so I have no idea. Maybe the gate isn't left open and the deer just has figured out how to get in. These ones are okay, but you know, with this kind of punishment, it's just not going to allow the tomato plants to grow into fruit. Oh, we do have a flower. One tomato flower. These should all be twice the size and be flowering and fruiting. You know, gardening is really an exercise in letting go of control. We do our best, but nature gets the final vote. But let's look at these squashes and see what's going on here. Of course, last year I had pumpkins, watermelons, there was quite a few different things. But the interesting thing is, it's supposed to be spaghetti squash here at the end, these three, but I think some plants got mixed up, and I have a feeling that this is probably a carnival because, oh no, I don't know what it's doing, but it's interesting like it's like that because spaghetti squash should be vining out. Now this one here, again, is supposed to be the carnival, but it's going out, and so it's looking gorgeous. Like, look at how huge this thing is. Lots of blooms, but they look like there's a lot of male blooms. Let's see what the fruit looks like. So that does look like it's a spaghetti squash. So that's what I'm assuming. So these two, they're not doing as great because they did have some slug damage, but I'm glad to see that they're coming through. And then over there is another spaghetti squash. I think he also had a lot of slug damage, but he's coming back. But this one here in the center, he is just magnificent. Of course, this is a patty pan that I had extra. Does have some fruit, but nothing worth picking. Does look like we need to come and harvest the potatoes. This is our zucchini. Again, you know, beautiful blooms on there. Look at this gorgeous bloom. It's just huge. But the zucchinis are pretty tiny. I believe this is my butternut squash from home, my home seeds. It doesn't look like it's fruiting quite yet. And then this one, I'm not sure what this is yet. And I looked to see if I could find its little ticket, but I can't see the ticket. Darn it. I think this was Carnival. But again, this one that's fanning out, Carnivals don't do that. So I don't know if I had some mixed up seeds. And then these patty pans, again, looking lovely, but from the looks of it, I don't think there's any picking needing to be done. Last row here, these are all butternut squashes, plants that I got from a friend of mine. Oh, we do have a tomato here. These are the ramelette. And this is the tomato that you pick, green, and then hang in your kitchen and then let it ripen throughout the winter. It doesn't look like we have any picking ready here, so we'll head back to the urban farm. Well, actually, we've got to go and do some slap and folds first. So the 15-minute stretch and folds are done. We're now on the 30-minute ones. So that's going to give me a chance to come out here and see what's ready for picking. Oh, I think I'll use my pruners for this. Be easier. I do need to come out and do some pruning of leaves from the looks of it. I'm not sure how much will be here because I've had people buy this past week, and when they come and we look at the garden, I go, here, take home a patty pan. The ones I gave away this week, they were bigger than this. So let's get these zucchinis. Oh, now I need the knife. They're just too close to the plant, so I can't get the pruners in there. Two nice sized zucchinis. Again, I think 3 zucchinis went away this past week. This garden bed is a little bit more awkward because I thought that we planted the pineapple squash on that side so we could get it to climb. But this is a pineapple squash here, and I think there's one there. So I think we got them mixed up. So it gets it a little bit awkward to get in here to pick them. Again, we need to come through and do a pretty big leaf picking. I'm not letting these ones get too big. I just want to pick them while they're small. These are these crazy looking squashes. So here it is here. They do get much bigger than this, but I feel like just for right now, this is a good size to have. We just sliced them up. I roasted them with a little bit of olive oil and Parmesan on them. They were fantastic. It is a firmer type of squash, so not like your zucchini where it dissipates. It's probably, the texture is similar to patty pan, but just an ever so slight firmer. Very good. And it looks like a flower. So this last bed, we've got some more patty pans here. I think this is where I took off 3 of them that were very, very big just a couple of days ago. And we got some little ones coming. These are just so beautiful. And just a small zucchini, so I think I'm going to leave that. Because again, I took 3 off the other day off of this plant. So we got some here that didn't take. I'll just trim them off now. So I think that's all we're going to be picking for today. Let's go look at the pumpkins. The plants are looking pretty darn good. Little light on the with the green. They should be a little darker. You know, they should be looking like this. If you come down, let's look at this. We've got 2 nice sized pumpkins coming. Another one up here. They're looking pretty good. Our watermelons, there are some flowers on them. Right here and here. So we could possibly still get some watermelons, but they're looking pretty good. These are the ones that are doll babies, and they were from, I think, 2022 from my garden. The Carolina cross also has a flower, and it's coming along. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And they're grown in straw bales. At the offsite garden, the fact that the squashes were so big and robust was very encouraging for me, as I really didn't know how bad it was going to be when I went out there. And we really rely on our tomatoes growing to put up for our salsa, our ketchup, our tikka masala. We make all these canning products that take us through the fall and the spring. And to know that our tomato season might be really, really poor this year is very discouraging. But I am very grateful for those squash plants, that they just look so robust. The past 2 years have been very, very difficult for me. So it has been very hard to come out. And so to know that I'm going to be faced with, you know, some sort of damage or some sort of difficult aspect to my garden can be very disheartening for me, and really make it hard for me to want to go out and see the damage, because then it's like, okay, I have to come up with a solution. What is going to be our alternative? Do we pull the plants? What do we do? Has all the crop been gone? So I'm thankful that there still is some crop out there. Our lives and the gardening can be very, very similar. Some days there's great success. This year I'm really looking at the garden as very similar to what goes on in life. You know, sometimes you go out and you have success and robust plants and things growing great. And then other days you're faced with pests or damage from rainstorm or windstorm or things like that. And your whole crop could be all taken out, and you still have to get up and go and try to salvage what you can. And when you're tired, it is very difficult to keep going. And so the garden, like life, is always asking us to return to things that have been damaged. Sometimes they recover and sometimes they don't, but we have to keep going back anyway. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And I think the next video will be us going around the urban farm to see what is growing and what is having success, because I'd like you to see some of these squashes that are growing that are very unique. I have tagged them, but with the plants getting so big, can't find the tags. And I should have done what Shawnee Grows does. She puts the tags out, but then she goes and writes it down in a book on her clipboard, and so that she knows exactly where things are. I didn't do that. So until then, take care. God bless.